So I'm usually a pretty big wuss when it comes to horror movies, so I try and avoid this genre as much as possible. That being said, I know there's a lot of great films in this genre, so I'm trying to be brave and branch out and watch some of them. So today I'm going to watch the Patreon voted 2015 film The Blackcoat's Daughter. I don't know anything about it. I don't know the cast, I don't know the plot, I don't know the director. Guessing off the title, maybe something from like the 1900s or something. I don't know really what to guess off of a black coat. I don't know what that means other than a literal black coat, but I'm excited to finally watch it. It's been suggested several times, so if you have any other suggestions for horror movies you think I should watch, please comment below. And if you're ever curious about what gear I use or what's on the bookshelf, I've included a link in the description. And if you want to have a say in what movies or TV shows I watch, be sure to join Patreon. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content. Oh, is this, she was in Mad Men and more recently in Sabrina. Kind of looks like her. Okay, I see a man in a black coat and a girl. I'm assuming she is the Blackcoat's daughter. Uh-oh. Oh, no! What was coming out of the window? Oh my god. Okay, already I'm kind of thinking more like psychological horror thriller, something along those lines. February, okay. Okay, parents are coming to visit. She's at, oh, okay, like a Catholic school?
I was just thinking to say, I hope you have a fun time, you know.
So, like, school break is coming up. She's got some kind of performance. There hasn't, like, the title came up on screen, but we didn't see any, like, intro credits or anything. They just went straight into the movie. I don't know what year this is supposed to be in. Actually, the car looks newer, so maybe like more modern day. Yeah, that camera looks newer. And I'm noticing lots of like shots with something in the foreground out of focus, like all these dirty shots, and then like observational style almost. Like we're just kind of getting these weird angles. Okay, Rose.
So you really think I should tell him? Rose, of course you have to tell him.
She's pregnant?
It's like half.
Yeah, school break, everybody's leaving. That sounds pretty good. If it sounds like she's actually singing, like it's her actual voice. Comment below if you know if it's actually her singing.
Have you checked your cellular phone? Maybe they called you there.
I don't have one yet.
Oh, her parents didn't show up? Oh no.
You will call Mr. Cornish in a few hours.
She's like, no, my parents forgot about me. It doesn't sound good.
Sounds good.
She seems kind of out of it. Like she hasn't been super responsive. Okay. And that one lady looked like she was dressed like Wendy from The Shining with her coveralls.
She call the school.
Or was that with that car accident she saw? Like that flash, that dream she was having? Did her parents get into a car accident or something?
Bye.
Yeah, and it seems like something she was looking forward to. Like she'd marked it specifically on the calendar, and now she's stuck at the school with one other student and 2 teachers. Yeah, and the color palette so far has been like really dark, like blacks, grays, dark blues.
Don't come in my room, okay? And don't touch my shit.
Okay, so yeah, there's rumors at the school that these nuns have fake eyebrows and also worship the devil. That would be so creepy, just being stuck at the school by yourself. Oh man. I don't know what to think of this one. Something seems off, but why is she gonna just take this girl's hairbrush? Oh, she was leaving a psychiatric hospital. Okay, I'm guessing she's a student at that school. It definitely feels like a slow burn so far, like we're setting everything up, but I'm enjoying it so far. And she looks familiar as well. I can't remember right now.
Park right over there. My wife's waiting in the car. See? Right there.
I don't like it.
My name's Bill. What's your name?
Bill, are you a creepy old man? Or are you trying to help?
What are you doing? Just trying to help. Go.
I don't know. Making me nervous.
We'll take her to the next gas station.
She doesn't want to give her a ride. Who are those flowers for? The Bramford School? Okay, so they're connected to the school somehow too, I'm guessing? They just really love bumper stickers. Voices coming from the radiator. Oh, I'm worried this is going to be really scary now. I would not be that person who sticks around to investigate. I would be hightailing it out of there so fast. No, thank you. Oh, I feel like a jump scare is coming. It's making me nervous. Yeah, I feel like I would be overanalyzing every little sound. Be like, what's that? What's going on? Especially when you're there by yourself, like, and it's such a huge school. Ah, ugh, creepy. Yeah, and again, it's cool to have her framed within like the railing bars of the staircase. The cinematography has been cool so far. It almost sounds like Catherine's voice, but you can't really make out the word. The last place I would be the frickin' basement. What was that? There was like a shadow that looked like it was like bowing down and praying or something. Nope. Nope. And it feels like a book, like they're telling each, like that was Rose's story, and now this will be Joan's story, I'm guessing. Oh, she's got like a scar on her shoulder or something. Oh! Yeah, I'm guessing that's like the bullet. You can see a scar on the back as well.
I'm happy to help, okay?
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Why is he so invested in helping her?
Linda and I are headed to the town just before it. We're going to Bramford.
Yeah, I'm curious if she goes to that school or has connections to that school. Yeah. I don't trust this. And why would they be going to a school that's empty and that everybody's on break and gone? Yeah, and the way they're like kind of showing flashes of things. Yeah, I feel like this will be a movie where the last like act reveals all. So yeah, I'm very curious about this Bill character. I don't trust him, so And Joan obviously also seems to have a history.
So what were you doing down there?
Oh, that was her in the basement? Okay.
Were you sleepwalking? Do you sleepwalk? Is that what that was?
Yeah, and she doesn't seem overly concerned that her parents aren't there.
Is there anything else I can get you? No. You had your chance.
What? Okay, I feel like Catherine is evil. She's like, yeah, you had your chance, like you were supposed to listen to the teacher or you were supposed to listen to the principal and you didn't. You're supposed to look out for me and instead you chose to go off. And as we've seen in horror movies, usually people who engage in sex end up dying. So yeah, I'm curious. What that? Yeah, I would definitely be locking my door as well. And yeah, what was she doing in the basement? And if she's now saying it's too late. Very cryptic messages. Oh God. Is she possessed? Oh my god! What? What? Her whole body was like that way.
We lost her 9 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
9 years ago. Tomorrow, actually.
Is he the black coat?
Except around this time of year when we go and lay flowers on the anniversary.
Which is what the flowers in the back seat were for. What? Rose? Rose is their daughter?
She's pretty.
What?
Yes, she is, isn't she?
They definitely look like her.
Have you decided?
What?
Oh.
Rose is dead this whole time? Ah. What? Does she like recognize Rose if she's from that school? Or are they lying about their daughter being dead? I don't know. If those are Rose's parents, it would make sense why they're on their way, because Rose told them to come the next day, show up on Friday. But why would they say she's dead? Oh! Pretty sure she just killed somebody and stole their ID. So she's not actually Joan. What's happening? And that's why she was... Oh man! I feel like I'm gonna have to look a lot of things up after I finish watching this. Ah!
Thank you.
Okay, so everybody's got secrets. Yeah, it's hard to know whose narrative to trust. Or is this whole daughter thing just a ruse? Like, did they just find a photo of Rose? And like Catherine found that envelope of her graduation photos on her desk.
He's the headmaster.
She's gonna stay and live with the headmaster? What? Yeah, and I've noticed lots of the shots have like tons of headroom and just, it's interesting. Yeah, it looks like they're wearing the same clothes they wore yesterday. Not the students, the teachers.
In front of us, that... and for which we are truly...
Catherine.
I'm starting to think she's possessed. Like, we saw her body contort. She looks like sickly, like her eyes are really dark and her skin's pale and she's having trouble saying grace. Oh god, and we're puking. Yeah, and we got a puker. Oh god. Oh yeah, that's what I'm going with. Yep, she's possessed. Ugh.
He really did say he'd come.
Is he meaning
He was wrong.
the devil? Yeah, and when he was saying he was leaving, I think he said he was going to Albany, and she was like, well, how long does it take you to get there? And like, that'll take you the same time to get back. So it's interesting. And if her parents have died, if Catherine's parents have died, she's trying to now live at the school. Oh. Oh, there's blood on the doorway. I noticed they've been doing that, like they cut and they deny the audience seeing what they, oh man. What happened? I'm guessing this one killed those two teachers. Okay, now we're on to Catherine's story. Yeah, it's interesting, like given it's such a short time span, like it's only a week or whatever these girls have, but telling it from different perspectives. I think that's cool. I like when they do that in movies. Because you get to see the same scene but from a different perspective, and I find you pick up on things that you missed the first time. And obviously each character would have their own experiences and bring their own perspective to the scene as well. Shadow, like a... Okay. Oh god, what was that thing? Looked like I had like bunny ears or something? Ugh.
Dad?
Okay, it's just static. She can't get a hold of them. Kill all the girls? Is that what they said? So bizarre. And it's hard because we have such a short, like it's not like we got to see her before. Like as soon as the movie started, Kat seemed to be like very quiet and reserved. So it's hard to kind of judge her behavior if she's always like this or if this is something new. But yeah, it seems like since that phone call, because that's like the earliest we have, she's been acting this way. And like no emotion, just very like blank faced.
Worshipping the dead.
Okay, the thing was like in the corner of the room. Oh, super creepy. It kind of looks like Frank the Bunny from Donnie Darko. But yeah, it was like just out of focus, but you could see it in the corner of the room. Yeah, well, she definitely killed them. And does not seem affected by it at all. Oh! Oh, literally stabbing her in the back. Oh my god. That's horrible. Oh my god. Oh. Yeah, and for a horror movie, like, we're probably like halfway through and that's the first death we've had. Unless that car accident actually happened earlier, but this is the first like on-screen kill. Yeah, and that's the photo that Bill has. Unless they're jumping time and just haven't, unless Joan is 9 years in the future and Rose does die, but yeah, it seems like it's all happening at the same time, so it's hard to tell. I'm guessing she found out she's not pregnant. Oh my god, what is that? There's just like a pile of like bloody clothes or something at the bottom. What was that? Cheese and crackers. Oh god! Oh god! She just stabbed Rose in the stomach. Oh my god. Oh, and now she's stabbing her in the back. Oh my god, this lady. Oh, poor Rose. Oh my god, the body count's picking up. What? What? What are we doing? Oh, what? What are you doing? Oh, and they keep cutting to black. Oh god. Okay, now we're gonna see what they saw, I guess. And I'm curious why he's showing up with the police officer. I mean, obviously it's gonna work out that he is, but like, what preemptively made him bring a police officer? Oh my god. She took their heads, decapitated them all, and put them out by the furnace. And it's interesting to have like the audio distorted when other people are talking to Kat. Showing that she's like not in her right mind, obviously. I don't think that's gonna happen. Ah! Oh my god. Okay, yeah, so I'm guessing this timeline is 9 years in the future, since we know the fact that Rose is in fact dead.
To do a blood test to see if her head matched the body.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god, she's really, oh, so many stabs. Oh my god, what the frick is this? Why did she just stab those people? She's like, pull over so I can stab you to death. What the frick's going on? She's doing the same thing that Kat was doing by cutting off their heads. Oh god. Is this Kat 9 years in the future? She looks different, but like, I mean, it's a different actress, but like still. Oh my god. She's putting them in the suitcases. Oh my god. That's so messed up. Is that what's happened? That's what I'm, just because the way she killed them seems very similar. And she's got like a similar haircut. Yeah, and her behavior's been kind of the same. Like she's been very quiet and very like reserved and, oh my god. This movie. Yeah, because we know Joan isn't actually her name, and we know she escaped from a mental institution because they showed that flash at the beginning. So, did Kat end up at that mental institution and then stole an identity, obviously, when she escaped? Just like not even blinking, just like nothing there.
And you will never come back.
Yeah, now she's ending up back at the school, and she knows that nobody will be there because it's the same, if it's the same time, like the exact same week in February, just 9 years later, it would be abandoned, obviously, because everybody would be on holidays. Oh man, or maybe the school shut down after, I'm not too sure. Oh yeah, there it is. Yeah, it's interesting to have a monster that we don't see. It's like been in shadow this whole time. We've just seen the outline. And I think that's what makes it scarier almost. Yeah, that you don't see it. It's just like your imagination of what it could look like. Yeah, was she hoping to like go back and like live at the school? Like that seemed to be her plan originally. She didn't want to stay there. Her hands look so red. Oh my gosh. I don't feel like she's crying over the people she killed. I feel like she's crying over missing whatever that thing was at the school. It's no longer there. Elvis Perkins. Okay, that's a fun name. Is this the song that she was playing on the piano at the performance? Emma Roberts, that's it, that's the name. I couldn't remember it. And yeah, she's the one from Mad Men. So that was my first time watching the 2015 film The Blackcoat's Daughter. I wasn't right in my prediction. I thought it would take place kind of in 1900s. It seemed to take place in more modern day. We did have that time jump with Joan being 9 years in the future, as her parents, Rose's parents stated that this has been 9 years since their daughter has died. And we know that Kat killed Rose. I really enjoyed it. I think I've pieced it all together, but I like psychological horror films better than just slasher films, so I really enjoyed this one. Again, it definitely felt like a slow burn and building up to things, but it wasn't like a 4-hour movie where you're like, okay, just get to it already. Like all the pieces were there, and I like how it broke it down into kind of the 3 timelines or the 3 different chapters of this story, with each of the girls being a character focused on that timeline. So we had Kat, Rose, and Joan, but again, you could argue that it's 2, considering we found out that Joan and Kat are the same person. That's how I interpret it anyway, especially with Joan revealing that she had been shot, as we saw when she was showering in the bathroom. We know that Kat was shot, and we didn't see on Kat's body where she was shot, but we saw her in the hospital later, so I'm assuming it was her shoulder, as that's where Joan had that scar. So yeah, it was very interesting that that's how they had told the story, and they didn't really show the monster, which I think is an interesting approach for horror movies. I've seen it before where they keep everything in shadow, and it's usually when they don't have the budget for special effects or costumes or makeup or any of that stuff, but I honestly don't mind. I think it's scarier when you have to imagine what the monster is, because then your imagination can come up with whatever it wants to, basically. And yeah, I'm guessing it was some kind of demon, devil, something like that. There was a rumor that the nuns had been worshiping the devil or something like that, and then we saw a cat in the basement doing something, yeah, and I'm assuming she was possessed, as she was giving off traits that we've seen in other horror movies of people who are becoming possessed, with the voice changing, swearing at a nun who's a religious figure, not being able to say grace, and like starting to smile and like smirk when she's saying religious words, and obviously puking, and she was looking sick, and like the physical toll that being possessed would take. So I'm guessing that's what happened. Whether that happened when Kat picked up the phone, I don't know, and it seems like she wanted the demon to stay. When she's in the hospital, she seems sad when it's leaving, and again, like I said at the ending, I don't think she was breaking down and crying because of what she had done to people. I think it was because she went back to that boiler room with Rose's parents' decapitated heads, as horrible as that is, as like a way to bring the thing back, and I don't think it worked. That's why she was upset and crying, is because she wanted this thing to come back and be a part of her, and it wasn't, or it didn't seem to have worked. I'm guessing the exorcism was successful, or she just wasn't connected to it as she was at the mental institution and not at the school. I don't know. But yeah, and that means that Kat killed those two people, killed Rose's parents without being possessed by anything. So yeah, it's interesting to think about, can you blame it on being possessed when at that time, was she just herself? Is she just like that and wanted the demon and, you know, use that as motivation and fuel to kill people and hurt them? Yeah, I wish we would have had a little bit of beforehand to see if Kat was always like this and was really maybe attracted to the dark arts and stuff like that. I don't know. Or if it was a huge switch and she was very like outgoing and then she suddenly became more reserved and quiet. Because from the start of the movie, when we saw Kat, she was very like somber, she was very like stone-faced, she wasn't really giving off a ton of emotion. And it's interesting to think, okay, is she just a quiet person, or is this new behavior from her? And if she was a freshman at this school, would people really know her beforehand? They weren't like, hey, last year you were like this, assuming it's a boarding high school. Maybe she's been there her whole academic career, I don't know. And I thought it was an interesting scene when we see from her perspective that conversation with Rose, when she's in Rose's bedroom and they're talking about the nuns, and you can see in the corner, it took a while, like your eye doesn't immediately go to it because it's out of focus, but then once you see it, I think that's what makes it scarier, is because you're like, oh, how long has this thing been here? But yeah, it kind of like, at first it kind of reminded me of the bunny from Donnie Darko, but I think once we saw it more clearly in the hospital, you could see like horns on its head, and I'm assuming definitely something more demonic, but I like that's the way they chose to portray this monster. I'm assuming Kat's parents did die in that car crash when she had that premonition early on in the film. They didn't show up at the school, and we didn't see them at the hospital when the priest was there or anything like that. So I'm assuming that's what the phone call the nuns shortly before they died, that's what that phone call was, I'm guessing, as they had it off camera and seemed concerned, and then sent Rose out to go do a task so that she would be away when they told Kat this horrible news. I'm curious if Kat intentionally planned her escape from the mental institution around the same time frame as the anniversary 9 years prior from when she killed those girls and the nuns, and we saw her, that brief flash of she killed somebody and took the ID of Joan and was pretending to be Joan. And it was interesting the way they kind of denied the audience those scenes. Like, we didn't get to see more than like 5 or 10 seconds of that quick scene. It was just enough of a scene to show the audience she's not who she says she is, but it wasn't like 20 minutes slap in the face of, hey, Joan's lying. She's like, you really had to be paying attention and see those quick scenes. And even when she's like pulling off the mental institution bracelet and just those quick little intros, like, if you miss those few pieces, I feel like it would have been harder to put together. So I like that they put those in there. And then even when we're doing the timeline chapters, the police and the headmaster are walking through, and then we know that they're gonna see something horrible because we see blood on the doorway, and I think the audience assumes that Kat did something horrible, just given her behavior prior to that, and then it cuts to black, and then we have to wait a little while to actually see their perspective of when they walk through, and then we see Kat obviously just stab the heck out of these nuns and Rose, and just going crazy and definitely overkill, and just decapitating their heads and taking them down to this furnace, and just, yeah. And then even when the police officer shows up, she's just like, yep, like, it's me, I did it. Like, no, not trying to hide it, just fully admitting it, fully accepting it. But it was interesting to have the audience not fully experience, like, it wasn't a full scene, it was just a quick flash, and I think that makes it more creative and makes the audience have to pay attention more in order to piece things together. And if Kat was planning on escaping at that anniversary, I'm wondering how, like, serendipitous meeting Rose's parents was. Was she planning on being at that bus stop, being at that location? Like, was it a chance coincidence that she ran into Rose's parents? I don't know. Was it planned? Yeah, it's hard to tell. And when we see Rose's dad, Bill, hand over the photo of Rose, the audience knows, okay, we recognize that face, we know who that person is. And then Kat kind of excuses herself and laughs, which now we know at the ending why she was behaving that way. At first you're kind of like, okay, if this Joan character escaped from a mental institution, maybe she's just clearly has some issues she's dealing with, and then we realize later that that's because she's the one who killed Rose. And just like, it feels like adding salt to the wound, like this cruel twist to have her parents be kind to her because they remind her of her daughter, of their daughter, and they're in fact being kind to the person who's responsible for killing their daughter. Like, oh man, it's just felt like extra harsh. And I guess they wouldn't have released the identity of the killer because she would have been a minor at that time, and they wouldn't have known what she looks like. And again, it was a different actor playing the older version of Kat, so she still would have looked different. They did keep the same haircut and hair color, but yeah, it was, it just felt so cruel because now she's killed the daughter, she's killed the dad, she's killed the mom, like she's wiped out this whole family. At first I was more concerned about Joan's safety because I was like, what's this? You know, what's this guy doing? Why is he picking you up? Like, why is he doing all these things? And it just seems suspicious because unfortunately in horror movies, it's hard to know who to trust. And usually things go badly for the hitchhiker or the person who's been picked up by a stranger. But yeah, it turned out that they should have been more afraid of Joan, as Joan was in fact Kat. And I don't know if Kat was planning on killing them, or once she realized they were Rose's parents, she decided to kill them then, or she just wanted to bring something to this demon. And it seems like the school has been boarded up since this horrible tragedy happened, for good reason. And I don't know if she was going back there hoping to find other girls to kill, find this demon, whatever she was trying to do. But yeah, it was definitely interesting to see almost like part 2 of a film. Like if there would have been a sequel, I feel like they kind of added that into this. I don't know if there are sequels. I know it's a fairly newer film, so comment below if there are sequels or anything like that. I don't know if this is based on a book. It felt like there was a relatively small cast, a few locations, so it felt kind of more like an indie film, but I still enjoyed it. It didn't feel like it had low budget value or anything like that. Like, it was still well done. The cinematography was interesting. Lots of like interesting framing choices I found, like tons of headroom, and just the way they chose to frame things, and very like observational style, like fly on the wall. Like, you wouldn't see, you know, a character perfectly in frame, they'd be slightly off center, and you'd always be like hiding around a corner or like doing this, and just like watching their behavior. So I found that was interesting, and I find that's kind of what makes or breaks a horror movie, or any movie I guess I should say, is like the creativity of the cinematography. Is it just going to be standard, you know, your regular shots? Not that there's anything wrong with that, but I like it when they take a more creative approach, and I find in horror movies you can kind of get away with that a little bit more because something's kind of off balance, like something supernatural. So maybe if the camera's tilted, you know, that's what it's trying to express, as opposed to watching like a sitcom and you're like, why is the camera all these weird angles? That doesn't fit the style of the show. I wonder what would have happened if Kat or the demon would have started attacking people during like a regular school day, or if they waited till it was empty and then they knew they'd have, you know, a small group of people. It would be easier to get away with this type of stuff, as you wouldn't have hundreds and hundreds of witnesses. And yeah, it seemed like there was something going on with the phone lines as well. She got that cryptic phone call. And I'm also wondering if the demon was responsible for Kat's parents' car crash somehow, if that was kind of the catalyst for this whole thing, as if Kat's parents had showed up on time, then she would have been gone and this movie wouldn't have happened and the story wouldn't have taken place. It just would have been Rose there, and Rose lied to her parents about the day of the visit or the day the holidays were starting because she knew she was pregnant and wanted to buy some more time and figure things out. And then just as we see her discovering that she's in fact not pregnant is when she comes out of the bathroom, and that's when Kat stabs her in the stomach. And it's just, oh, it just seemed extra cruel, because if Kat thought she was pregnant and she's stabbing her in the stomach, like, I don't even want to think, like, that's just so awful. And just like, there wasn't a super high body count, but the people she did kill, man, she made sure that they were dead. Definitely not the most gory movie I've seen, but yeah, it was overkill 110%. Like, it wasn't just one stab wound and then moving on. Like, it was, she wanted to make sure those people were dead. Even when the nun is like trying to crawl away and get help, she's stabbing her in the back repeatedly, and it's just like, oh, so horrible. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I like the cast. I like that girl from Mad Men. I think she's great, so I was excited to see her in something different. I thought it was such an interesting story, especially obviously that twist at the end, finding out that Joan is in fact Kat. I'm terrified of what Joan's gonna do now, seeing as how she seems to be fully capable of killing without this demon. So will she just keep pursuing the demon and killing more people, hoping that the demon will come back? I don't know, but yeah, just really interesting twist. I like the cinematography. I thought it was a creative story. A boarding school with girls over the holidays, we've seen that in horror movies, but I thought this was definitely a unique spin. And just like I said, like, adding that extra twist of fate to have Rose's parents, of course, be the one to pick her up. It couldn't just be randoms. It had to be some connection to the story as well. But overall, really well done. So thank you so much for sharing in this first time watching with me. If you have any other suggestions for horror movies you think I should watch, please comment below. And as always, please like, comment, and subscribe to this channel, and check back often for more awesome content. Okay, parents are coming to visit. She's pregnant. Okay, so yeah, there's rumors at the school that these nuns have fake eyebrows and also worship the devil, which is what the flowers in the back seat were for. Unless they're jumping time. Decapitated them all and put them out by the furnace. Yeah, I'm guessing that's like the bullet. You can see a scar on the back for graduation photos. She's putting them in the suitcases.